On this week's episode, we caught up with mini tour legend and a college buddy of mine, Matt Picanso, as he prepared for the Big Money Classic in Florida earlier this month.
He talks about his mindset and what it takes to win 3 straight.
A baseball player turned golf professional who loves the grind. Much respect. Rough Fairways is next. How's Florida?
It's hot, man. It's kind of sticky, a little humid. But it's, different than California, obviously. It's a lot more open, a little more like the Wild Wild West, it seems like.
Right on, yeah. Have you ever played the course before?
I have not, no. I actually never been to Orlando. I've been to, a lot of places on the Panhandle in like Jacksonville and Tampa Bay, but this is my first time in Orlando.
Big Money Classic. Awesome, dude.
Money Classic.
Well, let's get you the full introduction. He's Matt Picanso. He's 38, still living in Vista, and he's a professional golfer playing on Golden State Tour and just living the dream. Matty, thanks so much for joining us. Shoot, where do you want to start today?
You tell me.
Okay.
I'm good to go wherever you want to start.
Well, you had a pretty stellar year last year. I was doing some research on you. I was like, well, Golden State. I knew you played on Golden State for a few years. I don't know if you started like right when we got out of school, but I pulled it up in 2019 to 2020 season. 3 wins, a second, 6 top 10s, 7 top 25s, and second in points for the Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Okay. That's a good year, man.
For everything that happened this year, I couldn't be more pleased with that. I was, little bummed. I had some good opportunities at the start of the year with some Korn Ferry directors and stuff, and I was kind of trying to peak at the time. I was peaking to go back up to Canada, and I was just gonna, just go on a tear up there, and hopefully bypass second stage for once because it's just been my bugaboo for so many years.
Has it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your status right now as far as any kind of tour? Are you got any status on Korn Ferry? You just doing Monday Qs? What's up?
Yeah, I kind of got nothing. 2017, 2018 were, rough years as far as I was playing both tours, PGA Latin America and McKinsey Tour Canada. And I think I just wore myself out really thin. And I kind of lost my passion, or like I lost that drive that I have to try and do this. So 2019 was kind of that year where I was like, all right, I'm going to pump the brakes. I'm going to work on some stuff, and I'm just going to, I'm going to play locally, and I'm going to get back to winning. I'm just going to try and win I don't care if it's a 1-day Pepsi tournament or a 1-day boat tour. I don't care what it is. I'm going to go out there and try to win by 6.
Yeah. Just get that confidence going.
Yeah. And it was just an incredible year, and it fed into last year, or this year, I guess, 2020 fed into that too. And then, right about February, March, I was getting some emails from Korn Ferry directors, and some sponsors exemptions were looking like they were going to happen. And then, the world shut down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has COVID kind of wrecked, some momentum you had?
It's hard. It has and it hasn't. It's bad for everybody. I don't think there's any like positive, or not positive, but there's no like good outcome out of the whole thing. Like everybody's going to hurt. There's the times obviously where, when you're at your lowest, I'm going to sit there and, think like, oh, why me? Why'd this happen? But it happened to everybody. It's just, somebody like me who's such a journeyman, it's just another bump in the road. That's like, I've dealt with so much adversity. I shouldn't even be doing this, according to anybody that you would ask. Like, what are you trying to do this for at your age?
Right.
So
it's funny that 38 is an at your age moment.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's like you're ancient in golf. Well, that's funny you say that though, Matty, because so I turned 40 this year, so we're right around the same age, and going back to school, gosh, you and Kevin Ando were the only two guys that I thought that could play professionally. I know Kevin's teaching now; he's up at Yakima, and he's PGA, and I don't know if he ever really. He did really try, but he kind of liked the teaching side, but. You were always that one, and those stupid Monday tournaments that you would just smoke everybody. And it's like, so what's that? when did you know you were good? Like, did you know in school when you were smoking us?
Yeah, kind of. It's funny. Like, I mean, I had like probably started playing casually golf when I was probably about 19 or so, and I knew I was done with baseball. And I mean, I'm very athletic, so clearly I'm gonna have moments where it looks like I know what I'm doing, but I never really knew what I was doing. And then I worked a bunch of odd jobs, through my 20s, and when I came to the academy, it was my buddy had just moved to San Diego, and I was like, man, I'm gonna move to San Diego. Screw it, I'm going. And I started looking up, like, what do I want to do? And I'm like, at the time, it wasn't the Golf Academy of America; it was San Diego Golf Academy. And the way that they marketed themselves was like, it was a player's school. So I was like, okay, let's go see if that works. And then I got there, and we got started. And I'm like, man, this really has nothing to do with playing golf.
It's not a player's school.
It's not about playing golf at all. Like, I mean, it was helpful. Obviously, you learn kind of that side of it, which is cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And you meet a bunch of good guys, like all of us. I mean, obviously, you make some good friendships. But
yeah,
I would say it wasn't about till 2 years after we got done, when I was working at the Crossings. I think Wedler had just left, and it was pretty much just me in the shop. And I kind of had a good relationship with our GM, where he would just let me, he would let me take whatever days I needed off to practice or play, so I could see, if I had any potential at all. And, I played with guys like Eric Miketree and Jeff Hart, like just legends, like true legends back in the day. And they were just, the fact that they took such like a liking to me and wanted to teach me things made me be like, well, man, maybe I am good. Like, I have a lot of raw talent, but maybe if I, start surrounding myself with the right people, I can turn this raw talent into something pretty cool and see how far this goes. And I mean, it just kind of, that's kind of just what I've done for the last 8 or 9 years. I've just made sure that I'm around the right people, and I've just really just kept getting better every year. Like every year I reevaluate myself and say, all right, am I better than I was last year? And the year when that happens, when I can't say that, then I'll, have to think about, is this a career choice I want to keep making going forward?
That's interesting, because pretty much every other guest we have on, I've been swinging since I was 4, or, you seem like you picked it up really late, pretty much when I did. Same kind of thing. After high school, quit chasing baseball. I didn't start chasing golf, but that's when I got into it as well. So
it's kind of nice, right? I feel like when you get into it at that age, you kind of don't have all the scar tissue that, some of these younger kids have, where they just either they get burnt out, or they start throwing temper tantrums because.
Well, I always ask them, what kind of golf parents did you have? Because we've all been at the range, and you see that dad just grilling his 4-year-old on his form, and I'm like, that kid's not going to make it. Oh. So, yeah. So yeah. When you said, you kind of evaluate yourself, and am I better than I was last year? When you get to that point, have you thought about what you want to do when you get to that point, or is that just not something?
Yeah. I mean, it's the great thing about, all the places I've traveled and just everywhere I played is you make so many connections, and you network with so many people. And I mean, I still talk to people that I might've played with in Canada in 2017, or people in Chile in 2000, like, families I stayed with, or stuff like that, where, I mean, I've had guys just straight up offer me jobs like, hey, I'll hire you as a consultant. I just want you to take, clients out to play golf and just show them a good time and stuff like that.
Oh, that sounds like an awesome job.
I'm saying that sounds like the most amazing job in the world. But
if you need a fourth, you let me know.
Ideally, I mean, I love the competitive side of golf. Like, I love just everything that it involves, as far as, making it a business and trying to do this. So I think I would want to probably coach more at the collegiate level, kids that actually want to make it, as a professional golfer. And just, I mean, everything that I've been through and seen and learned, I mean, I can definitely help them route their journey.
Right.
Would you want to go get PGA membership?
I mean, probably. I think it makes things a lot easier when you have that, for sure. It's definitely, there's a lot more politics in this industry, as you know, than anything else. I mean, there's guys that are probably like, the worst Class A imaginable. They can't break 90, but they're going to get a job over, a guy who doesn't have a Class A in certain circles, certain places.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. So talk about, I know you haven't played much in Florida, but give me the feeling that you're feeling right now. You tee off in a couple of days, 3-day event, huge purse, 100,000 to the winner. I mean, shoot, I was looking at the payouts and it's good stuff, man. Like it could be, life-changing. It could be life-changing.
I mean, it's definitely for some guys, like, I mean, yeah, it could change your whole year. I mean, just set you, I mean, you pay off some guys that have a bunch of credit card debt. I mean, you take care of that in one tournament, which is huge.
Do you have that feeling like right now, like, you just traveled across country, you're used to California events and you're like, it's like kind of like you're traveling to, maybe like your major or like just a big event where it has that feel to it. Does it have that buzz around right now, kind of in town and maybe your boys that you're staying with?
It's definitely a lot more than like a normal mini tour event for sure. Yeah. It's got much more of a not a tour event, but definitely way more structured, a lot more professional than most of the stuff that you're going to see at the developmental level. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, 200 players is a lot for a 2-day or a 2T split wave. I mean, I was kind of wondering how they were going to do that as far as if they're either going to shoot us off in foursomes in one wave, which would be, I think, more ideal because they're going to go threesomes in 2 waves, which, I mean, normally 80 guys max is what you want if you're going split wave, split T. So we're going to go 100 guys. So I'm hoping we get it all in and there's no delays or no darkness, stuff like that.
Sounds like a 6-hour round waiting to happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, you start to get used to that. It doesn't even. Sure. There's lots of guys where they get really irritated with that stuff. And I might have when I was early in my career, but at this point, I mean, it's just, you got to find ways to just kind of block out the delays or the waits on tees. I like to just kind of walk around or I'll just go and stop and stare at stuff and just kind of take my mind somewhere else rather than just standing there looking down the fairway being pissed off.
Right.
What does pace of play look like on mini tours? What's your average round?
It just depends. I would say a lot of the times it's a lot quicker than what people would think because a lot of mini tours we can take carts. So
cool.
Having golf carts helps a lot. This week it won't be. So this will be very similar to like a Web or a Latin America or Canada, or I mean, it'll probably be 5.5 easy.
Yeah. You got a caddy with you?
I don't this week.
Okay. Well, hey, Ryan French is there.
I know.
Text him right now. Come on.
I kind of, it's weird. The older I've gotten, I like carrying my bag. I don't know what it is. It's like I feel like I got this chip on my shoulder, like, all you young kids and you got your push carts and your caddies, and like, here's this old man. Well, not old, but in golf wise, here's this old man carrying his own bag. So it kind of,
they look. You got the gray, and the beard going on. You just look weathered. It's like, dude, I've been around here, man. Get out of here.
You gonna come up and play in Boise?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've done that. I haven't done a lot of Mondays. It was weird. I was thinking about that when Eddie shot me over some topics. I'm like, man, I mean, I've done really well in open qual. Like I've got their U.S. Open locals every time and made it to sectionals, but I've only done about 4 Mondays. I would say maybe 2 Web, maybe 5 or 6. 2 Web, 2 PGAs, and then I've done a couple Latin Americas when I was conditional, wasn't going to get in. And I mean, I think the only one I didn't get in, the only ones I haven't got through are a PGA, like the Farmers. A few times I've missed, by a couple at El Camino, or now it's at Bear Creek. And I did the Webs one. I did the Web one in Kansas this year, and I did the Web when they used to be. They had the event in San Francisco. I would do the one up in Stonebray, but other than that, I have not done very many Mondays. It's hard for me because I've always had to. I rely on myself. Like I haven't had a sponsor since I started, really, and once I kind of got free of that, and I had just enough success to keep going, and then I kept building on it, and now I'm at a point where it's like I don't owe anybody anything, and it's amazing. So it's like I like just knowing that I can pick and choose the few Mondays that really look appealing to me because the course setup or stuff like that, and I'll go to those ones. But the rest of the time, it's like I can hang around California and go play these mini tours and just keep trying to pad the old bank account.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Debt free is always good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would love that. I tell, some of the younger kids that come up when I know that they're going to have backing and they're going to have things, I would 100% tell every one of them, like, just if you have the money and it's not an issue at all, like, yeah, go chase them. Just
right.
Get after. Because if you're a good player, all it takes is 1 or 2 good weeks, you get hot. I mean, Chip McDaniel did it this year on the Corn Fair. There's been numerous guys that have done it on the Corn Fair. You get hot for a couple of weeks and then bam, I mean, you're a member.
That's interesting. You say that with younger kids approaching you. Do you get that a lot since you're kind of like that, you're the veteran on tour there? And
oh yeah,
do they come up to you and be like, "Hey, Matty, what do you, this is my first year. I'm nervous as hell." Do you give them advice and kind of, be big brother?
Yeah. I mean, maybe not at first I wasn't, but like I said, every year that passes, I get a little bit more, not sentimental, but yeah, I mean, I see guys. I think it's more so that before I would see guys where I'm like, man, that kid's so good. Like if I was part of his team, this is what I would tell him, but I just wouldn't say anything. But now I'm at the point where it's like, I'm not going to go up and give unsolicited advice. But if they ask me anything, yeah, I'm 100% going to say, yeah, man, I think you're doing this wrong. I think you need to go here. Or I think you need to do this. Or I say, if I was in your shoes and I was at your age, I would 100% do this, knowing what I know now.
It's like that age-old question, like, what would you tell your younger self that now,
Well, I would have put a golf club in my hand when I was like 10 years old.
Yeah, you'd go back literally decades.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get
do you think that was a big thing for you since you started so late? If you would have had some teenage years and stuff?
It's funny. I was just home for the holidays, and me and my dad were talking about that, and it's like I don't know if it would have changed anything. It might have been, completely a 180. I might not have ever played, tried to play golf because everything I loved about baseball is what's really like fueled me and helped me in golf. I was a really good baseball player, but my parents would be the first ones to tell anybody like I was the worst team player. I would yell at my other teammates. I would get mad when we lost. So golf ended up being the best sport for me because it's just me. I'm the only person I have to hold accountable. So
I didn't know you played baseball. Talk about that, how that trend, obviously a lot of baseball players can be good golfers and vice versa. So what did you take from baseball with the stance to any kind of mechanics or fundamentals for that? What did you take into golf and be like when you first started? Like, I'm holding the club like this, and it's obviously at impact.
Yeah, it was kind of just that figuring out, like, I know how to hit something up here, and it's moving, coming at me pretty fast sometimes. So to me, at first, I was like, this is going to be easier. The ball's just sitting there. It's like it's on a tee, like, because it is on a tee. All I got to do is hit
a tee ball.
But obviously, like, at first, I could hit it far and hard, but sometimes, I would just hit it. And I have no idea why. I'd be like, why did I hit that one 800 yards left? I don't know. Why did I hit that one 800 yards right? I don't know. So it was more so I kind of just, navigated myself through, like, I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, stuff like that. Listened to lots of different people to just be like, okay, I know I'm upright. Most baseball players are going to be upright golfers. So I got to work on, just getting a little shallower. And then I have more control over the face. And then I started seeing better results. And then, the beauty about golf is I don't think we will never stop, like, not tinkering, but trying to learn different things. Like, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? I learned stuff even today, like playing a practice round. I was playing with Anguiano, and I'm just, I love stuff that he does around the green. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, Mark, show me how you did that. Show me how you did it again. I'm constantly learning, even at my age now.
That's what it seems like with talking to Ryan and yourself now and a couple other guys, is that there's this camaraderie on the mini tours that is really super tight. And then, Ryan was talking about how that camaraderie goes to the Corn Ferry Tour, but you're still trying to beat each other's brains in because it's,
always.
You're at that next level at Corn Ferry Tour. Yeah, that's cool to hear you say that, you kind of just feed off each other and look and monkey see, monkey do, whatever.
You got to respect the grind. I mean, I respect
Heck yeah.
guys that have done the grind, and Mark's definitely one of them. And I mean, I have lots of buddies that have went through the grind, and some of them are on the big tour now. And it's cool to see. And it gives the rest of us, like, it can happen. It's not unattainable. It's just, you just got to work your tail off, and you got to wait for that break to come. And when it does come, you got to take advantage of it.
Now it makes sense that you were the longest guy in school from baseball, because that baseball power probably transferred onto the golf course. Because every time you teed it up in school, dude, you just mashed it. Yeah. Whether it went, 300 yards right, left, straight, whatever. It's just like, damn, Matty.
It wasn't always straight, but
like Pico can hit it, dude. It's like back in school, it's like once you start ball striking and putting, then the rest is just going to be like, boom, you're gonna take off.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Putting, I would say probably towards the end of last year is when I did my, I use Decade pretty religiously, so it really helps me see, where I'm losing shots, where I'm gaining strokes. And I mean, it was just a continuous trend for about 2.5 years where it's like, man, how can I have this scoring average, but my either strokes gained around the green or strokes gained putting just keep being more and more negative. And there's a heavy correlation between the more greens you hit, obviously you're going to have more birdie putts, which means you're going to miss more birdie putts than other people are going to. So your strokes gained putting is going to look crappy all the time.
Right.
So, but I kind of I stopped looking at it as a whole, and I looked at very specific areas, 8 feet to 12 feet. Man, I'm not making near as many of these as even an average PGA Tour player, let alone the guys that are the best. So, what do I got to do? And then I called up Dean Wilson just because I've known him for years down in San Diego, and I've always loved the way he putts. And we'll go out and play Goat Hill and stuff. And I mean, I love how relaxed he is. So finally, I was like, Dean, help me, just teach me, do something. And so we started kind of working together, and that was the end of 2019 or 18, and then 2019, 2020 was it was night and day, the difference. And that was probably the biggest difference. Was I could win a golf tournament with ball striking, but it was hard. It was a grind all the way to the last hole, maybe one shot or even tied going to the last hole. But then once I started putting and making those, then it's then you start winning by 6, you win by 5, and it just becomes a lot less carefree.
Yeah.
So
go ahead,
what's
Mike.
the weakest part of your game now? Is it still putting and everything else is good?
I would say it's still just, it's the short game shots that I take for granted sometimes, maybe just because I'm not spending enough time on that part of my game. So I'll get sloppy. I mean, I definitely get sloppy sometimes, and just basic chips, basic bunker shots, stuff like that, where it's I can't be hitting that shot to 8 feet or 9 feet.
Right.
So right now that's 100% the weakest part of my game. But like I said, I've been Angbiano is actually him and another guy, Jake Sarnoff. I don't know if you ever talked to Jake, but Jake's a grinder for sure too. They're starting a following on Instagram called the Short Game Guys, and they've been just pumping information and stuff. And I think I'm going to have Marky help me a lot more going forward.
So, all right, what kind of golfer are you? Are you a bomb and gouge kind of guy? You play a little bit more strategically? Is there a type of course that sets up good for you?
Yeah, it's weird because I'm always going to be aggressive with the driver, but at the same time, I'm a very strategic golfer now. I kind of have a system. It's like a progressive system to where I start off pretty conservative, not conservative, but I start off, I call it yellow light. I'm on a yellow light for however many holes until I make a couple birdies, and then I just switch it to green light, and then I fire at everything I can until I make a mistake, and then I go back to yellow light, and then if I make another mistake, I go to red light, and then it's okay, let's get the train back on the tracks. And then so I go with the ebbs and flows of the round. If I come out right out of the gates and I just, I have a good warm up session and I just feel it, then I'm going to be very aggressive, like right off the bat. But if I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm hitting it okay, but not great, I'll start off pretty conservative and just try to give myself some looks, some 15, 20 footers, and maybe try to roll a couple of those in. And then a lot of times we're all feeding off momentum. So you get a couple of putts fall early. It doesn't matter how bad you hit it on the range before you teed off. You're going to just start striping it. It's just how the mind works.
What's your best round?
Shot 63 times.
Nice.
Still haven't hit that magic number, but it's been close.
That's incredible. Do you keep a handicap?
I don't. I mean, I think the last time I did, I was like a plus 5.3. And that was like, I think towards the end of like when we were in the academy, and I was keeping one at the crossings when I was working there, just so I could play like in the, the fun tournaments, the member stuff that would go on.
Right.
When we had Kevin on a couple weeks ago, and I asked Kevin his handicap, and he's a plus 8. He said, "Like you're a plus 8 as a teacher, Kevin. That's pretty good. Like, where are you finding the time?" He's like, "Well, with COVID and everything," and he,
I know, I'm sure
backed it up too. Like he could just tell his rounds and everything. He's like, "Yeah, I was practicing. My wife would come out, and I just by the end of the day, it was like a 63." And I'm like, "Dude, you suck, man."
Yeah. Actually, I saw him in. Well, not
in Reading.
Yeah, he was at Reading.
Yeah, he told us the story.
Yeah, him and Bob
Wyatt. Yeah.
No, yeah, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. So talk about travel life on the Golden State, like up and down. Is it mainly just focused on one city? Share some stories from there, and
Yeah, I mean, in the first few years when I was playing, I kind of played a lot of Golden State, like just everything I could locally, but that was just more so I was trying to get my reps in and just get as much, tournament golf under my belt as I could, because I didn't really have an amateur career. So, and then as I got better and I tried to progress and move on, I didn't really play as much. I started kind of focusing more on the bigger events, like the state opens and the mini tour majors, the Long Beach Open, Arizona, Nevada, all the stuff in the Dakotas, Waterloo, some of those state opens in the Midwest, which is a lot of travel. I mean, the last 2 years, I think I probably put 10,000 miles on my car just driving to the Midwest to play the Dakotas and come back.
Wow.
But I mean, it's a really cool drive. You see a lot of the country that I would never have seen before. And there's some really good golf courses out there. Like, I don't think people realize, like, the Dakotas Tour plays some very solid golf courses. Fargo Country Club might be one of my favorite courses I've played. I mean, it is top notch.
Top notch golf course in Fargo. Okay.
You never expected it.
I was going to say that's a first. Mm-hmm. Do you travel alone?
Most of the time now I do.
Yeah.
The first few years, I traveled with different players. I actually caddied for a year in 2014 back then was Webb for Mark Hubbard.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And me and him had met, he was coming down playing a lot of Golden Staters, and I was kind of playing here and there because I was still working at the crossings, and I knew he was good. I mean, I played with him once. I was like, man, this kid's good. And so we exchanged numbers, and I said, anytime he's down there, like, hit me up and we'll practice and play. And we just kind of built a friendship. And then when he got on the web, I called him and I was like, Mark, if you want me, I'll come with you, man. I'll learn. This will be a heck of a learning experience. And I think I can help you, and let's go. And it only took him 1 year, and bam, he was on the big tour.
Yeah. Thanks to you.
But I mean, he had to hit the ball. I mean, I think I did a good job keeping him just relaxed, and we had a good system, but he had to do everything. I mean, I always tell people that when you can blame a caddy for a bad number, but you can't blame a caddy for a bad shot.
Totally.
Right.
I mean, it's just, yeah.
So since you're a more seasoned player, what do you think the big difference is between the guys at the top that get to, that make it to the next level, and the guys that either fizzle out or kind of just linger at the bottom? Like what kind of separates that? Is that a mentality thing? Is it a certain portion of their game up in the head?
Right there.
All of it. I mean, it's just funny. Like you watch, I mean, I get lucky sometimes. Like I'll play with Xander a lot when he's home. And I mean, it's just night and day. Even the difference between watching him and me, talent wise, I mean, I don't know. There's really no difference. I mean, there's probably facets in my game that I'm very much more physically talented than Xander is, but the way that he just approaches a simple golf shot is just so impressive for a 24-year-old kid. And just the way he goes about his business in a round of golf is just, it's night and day difference between, that's the difference between a top 10 player in the world and probably most of the guys even on the Corn Ferry right now.
It's a great segue into mental coaching. Do you employ one on a regular basis?
I don't. I mean, I've definitely dabbled with a few different guys, throughout the years, whether it's just a couple phone calls or an email, or, I mean, I definitely read a lot of books. I think for me, the most important thing is just at some point, I just kind of had to surrender. And most mental coaches that I talk to, that's what they'll say. Like at some point, you just have to surrender that you're not like what you're doing isn't working. You can say all you want, like, I focused and I didn't get mad and I did all these things, but it doesn't matter because it's not so much about that. It's more about what you think about while you're on the golf course, how you think about golf shots, and what you're doing when you're not on the golf course. Like I don't care if you focus all day long on the golf course and play an incredible round, but then if you go to the bar after that and drink 15 beers, I don't think your mental game's that strong because you got to play golf the next day. So
yeah,
that was PGA golf in the 60s.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that works for some guys, but nowadays in modern golf, with the athleticism that's part of the game now, like if you don't focus on those areas, not just your body, but your mind and your body, and keeping those two in sync, I mean, you're going to get lapped.
Too many kids are just ready to just beat your brains in, and they're going to do it. They'll jump on it. They'll see it. And do you are you a talker on the golf course? Like, do you talk to your playing partners? Or are you pretty zoned in type of player?
Kind of go in and out. It just depends. Like I'm always like approachable. I would say, earlier on when I was playing, I probably wasn't approachable, and probably more kids were scared of me than anything. But the older, I've become much more approachable and probably a lot more enjoyable to play with than I was, in the beginning. Yeah. But it's more so just, it's just, like casual talk.
Totally.
If somebody starts talking like anything, like the last I would say the last 8 or 9 months, it's been one of those where it's like the minute I'm playing with somebody and they start talking politics or anything like that, I just go to the other side of the fairway.
Yeah,
sure.
When I'm playing golf right now, that's the last thing I want to talk about.
Right.
Exactly.
But for the most part, yeah, I mean, most guys we'll chat about, hey, did you see this? Did you see that game?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So do you think, you're talking about current tour versus past tour and all that stuff, do you think that there is a distance problem? Problem in quotation marks?
I don't think that there's any way to slow down the whole distance factor thing, because even if you stopped right now, like we left all the equipment the way it is, it's everybody's finding ways to become more athletic. And that's why the distance it just keeps growing. And I think, Tiger and Brandel Chamblee are the only ones that are kind of saying what I think we should be doing the whole time is we can't, it doesn't matter how long we keep making golf courses. We're going to find ways to keep hitting it far.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have told me when I was 28 that at 38, I would hit it, I'd have more ball speed and more swing speed, I would be like, no, you're lying. But I have way more ball speed and way more club head speed than I did when I was 28. So a lot of it's, you got to put in the work in the gym and keep your body flexible. But the more we're learning about, the physics of the golf swing, guys like George Genkus and some of the teachers out there that are really working on like ground force reaction and using the ground to create speed. I mean, we're just creating just an army of kids who swing at 120 when they're 14 years old.
Right. So what do you, if they want to guard against that? I mean, obviously it doesn't sound like
make the courses way tighter, and you got to put all the trouble's at 310 right now, which is a problem because we just fly it by that. You got to put the trouble at like 330. So
choke the fairways, grow the grass.
Bunkers at 310, and let's move the bunkers to 330. And Brooks Koepka and guys like that are like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'll just hit it in the rough because I'll take my lob wedge out of the rough over your 6-iron from the fairway. Well, okay, let's make the rough 8 inches then.
Yeah,
right.
At those distances. So then it's like, go ahead, hit it in that. Let's see how your lob wedge works out of that. We all see what happens in some of these U.S. Opens with that rough. It doesn't matter how hard you hit it. If you're in the rough all day, you're not going to score.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, we asked that question a lot to everybody, and I think it's a important question to ask and talk about. But it's great because I think the overall theme that we've gotten is that the golfers are just going to find a way.
Yep.
Bryson was the first one to really truly transform his body. That's him just finding a way to his ball speed or his swing speed, whatever it may be. He's just going to find a way. And the term, gaining speed from the ground 10 years ago wasn't even a topic. You'd be like, what are you talking about? Just swing as hard as you can. Yeah.
I can always tell what kind of golfer is by the answer I get to that question, because more of an amateur, I'm like, yeah, maybe we should dial back the ball or we should do, but a guy, playing any level of tour golf is like, no, I'm putting in the work. Don't handicap me for that. So like,
and from a business standpoint, I mean, we want to keep people interested in golf.
Yeah.
Right.
People want to see guys hitting it. People want to see, PGA Tour players basically hitting it like long drivers because
singles aren't as cool as home runs.
No,
I mean they're just not. Yeah.
Chicks take the long ball.
Chicks take the long ball, man.
Tiger did it. Tiger did it first. I mean, Tiger
he did, yeah, and nobody was giving him hell.
He did it 40 by anybody, and it just blew people's minds away. Like,
yeah,
I mean, he was playing. It was like LeBron James when he first got in the NBA. He was just a man among boys.
That's right.
It wasn't fair. I mean, it just wasn't. But the beauty about it now, the only thing I can say, like, people complain about the distance thing, but why would you complain about the distance thing when nobody will ever do what Tiger did? Nobody's going to just win, 33% in a season.
Ridiculous.
Because every guy hits it like that now. So it's way more fun when it's like every week, who's going to win?
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting. It's
gambling on golf is a great way to throw away your money.
Yeah, I mean, picking DraftKings lineups nowadays is just
you just don't know.
Just throw some, like, put a bunch of names on a wall and just throw darts. And him.
Like, remember when Bryson said, Augusta's a par 67 to him?
Yeah.
And
that was the worst thing he could have said. First,
I know. The odds makers were all on Bryson, and Vegas just cleaned up that week. They did, and of course,
I mean, I don't know how Dustin Johnson goes under the radar that beginning of that week.
Isn't that crazy that he, in my mind, under the radar?
He was 100% the favorite. Nobody's the way he's driving it right now, and the way he's putting. Like, nobody is to. If he plays at all normal, he's
either in the contend almost every week.
Yeah. But that's a good example of. So you can say what you want about this. Oh yeah, DJ hits it really far. DJ was probably an average wedge player, even around the greens, and now he is, top 5. So that's why he wins the way he does.
Yep.
But that's just a lot of work and figuring out, okay, this is my weakness. This is what we got to go to work on.
So speaking of Masters, one of my favorite little questions: 25 years from now, who's your honorary 3 starters?
Oh man. I mean, it's got to be Tiger, just because I don't think I would have ever even kept playing golf if it wasn't for Tiger. He just made golf look cool. And back then I didn't think golf was cool. So I would say Tiger. Arnie, just because I just think it would be cool to be in the presence of Arnold Palmer. And
No, I mean 25 years from now, who takes over as Jack, Arnie, and so you got Tiger.
Oh, I'm not saying who I would. Oh, okay. I totally misread.
Yeah, so we're all old men watching the Masters. Who's starting it off?
This is gonna be great. It'd be hard to imagine Phil, Tiger, and
so we always get Phil, Tiger, but that
Phil,
third
Tiger,
person.
and Sergio.
Oh, there's
good.
Sergio. So
I've been waiting for Sergio.
There's our first Sergio vote. So
how do you not? I mean, how do you not love Sergio? How does anybody?
I like him. I do. I thought his win in 2017 was fantastic. Mm-hmm. I always think like how they kind of do an international player, but Ernie Els. Remember when Ernie, Phil, and Tiger were the big three? Like in 2000 to 2002, they were known as the big three, and they just won pretty much everything. That would be my honorary three.
The only reason I say Sergio is because Sergio just reminds me so much of like a Gary Player.
Yeah.
Just in the fact that like, I mean, Sergio's going to keep playing. Like he's not going to stop. And Gary Player, I mean, if you told Gary Player right now, hey, you're in this event next week, I'm sure he would try to play. He's
would.
Like 80 something. I mean, he would try. Yeah.
He's going to play until he's dead.
Yeah. But another one you don't really think about because he should be an honorary starter right now is Bernard Longer, but he just keeps playing. The guy just doesn't. He almost didn't make the cut. He beat Bryson.
He keeps contending. I know. It's so great, man. Mike and I did a Masters recap, and we talked a little bit about Bernhard on there, and then Larry Mize shot, I think 70 his first day.
Yeah.
It was so great to see, man. And that's what's great about golf is that you can have a guy like Bryson and DJ and Justin Thomas and all those guys that are obviously – the future of golf, but then you still have a guy and you put them on the right course and they're going to be able to score.
Yeah. I mean, there's something about, and I'm starting to just barely like see the tip of the iceberg, but there is definitely something to like that crafty veteran stuff. I mean, it's just like, it could be something so minute that like, but at the end of the round, I'd be like, man, did I really do that on that hole? Like, that was awesome. Like, I didn't even think twice. I just was like, nope, not going at that pin. I'm hitting it right here without even questioning it. And then, I end up making like a 30-footer because I had the easiest uphill 30-footer ever when the other guy hits it to 10 feet left of the hole in 3 putts because you can't hit it there.
Right.
It's just stuff like that where it's like there's something to being a crafty veteran just not firing at just knowing a golf course to where like, nope, I'm going to hit it right there and I'm going to hit it right there.
Yeah, you can't buy experience.
Nope.
What's your schedule look like this year? What's next for you after the big money?
I wanted to go to Hawaii right after this because that's one of the few Mondays that I have done for the big tour. And I mean, it's probably one of the best setups for me imaginable that it's actually Ernie Els design in just outside of Honolulu in Ewa Beach. And it's Hukalea Country Club. And it is like 7,700 yards. And it is just a bomber's paradise. And, I wanted to do that, but I think with the timing and everything going on right now, it's too much of a hassle or mess. I don't know what you're there. Like, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing the 14-day thing anymore, but I'm not sure.
They're not. No, if you can produce I don't know if you had to go get tested, but yeah, if you can produce a negative test within 72, they'll let you come here. Yeah.
So I was going to do that, but I think I'll probably play some. I don't know. It's weird. It's like I want to play some mini tour stuff, but it just all depends on some of the stuff in California is just like, are we keeping the flags in? Are we leaving these little bumpers in the hole? I mean, there were some tournaments earlier this year where I withdrew because I was like, I'm not going to go out there and beat myself up because I can't make 4-footers with the flag in. It trips me out. I keep finding my eyes. Like I try to make the ball on either side of the flag stick because I don't want to hit it. And it just depends on that.
Which is odd because I love putting with the flag in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's truly, a player's choice for sure.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any information from the tours saying, "Hey, here's what we're going to be doing this year," or are they just going to
actually one of the reps or one of the rules officials or guys that works for the PGA Tour that I've known for a few years, who's been on Canada and Latin and even China. He's actually here right now. He's doing some volunteering. I saw him today and I was like, "Oh, hey Slater, what's up?" His name, I think it's John. Yeah, John or Kelly, not Kelly. Maybe Kevin. He lives here and he's a member at both these courses that we're playing this tournament at. And he's volunteering. So I actually asked him that. I said, "Hey, so what's going on? China, not going to happen."
Okay.
Pretty positive that's done.
Yeah.
Latin America, I mean, they have until almost like November, October next year just to finish. I mean, I think they'll get the rest of this schedule done, and then they'll probably have a Q school in November for 2022. Canada, I don't think the border part's an issue anymore with Canada. I think the economy is just hurting really bad up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if some of those cities can actually host those tournaments is the problem. So it might be a really small schedule. It might be like 7 events or 8 events instead of 13 or 12 or what it was. But I think they're going to do some cool stuff with the European Tour right now. Maybe even like some partner up stuff where maybe even some of the guys don't go to Korn Ferry. They might get European Tour status from those other feeder tours, which I think, I mean, I've always personally last year was kind of I thought about doing European Tour Q School instead of Korn Ferry Q School because I played some Challenge Tour events at the end of 2019, and I loved it. I mean, it was.
Why didn't you go?
Different golf. I played in Dublin, and I played in what was that place called? Istanbul, Turkey.
Okay.
Yep.
So oh, sorry, go ahead.
Different. It was just different. It's just different golf. It's just it's those guys over there are just, I mean, they're a crack up. Every one of them is just so much fun to play with. It's
Do you have a preferred style of course? I mean, you're a long guy, so
yeah, I mean, obviously I definitely would, if I had my way, I would, I definitely like courses where I get to, hit driver more often than not. But I also I like some of I love some of the Donald Ross courses where it's just, it's all about the second shot. I mean, if you're a really strong mid-iron, short iron player, you should get rewarded. And those kind of courses definitely do that. They're going to be a lot of dog legs. You're going to hit a lot of 4 irons, 3 irons, because you got to lay it up to the open part of the dog leg and then hit the approach shot. I would have never thought I would like courses like that, but as the time's gone by, I like both. I'd say the only ones I'm not really I don't like some of the mountain courses, the hilly. I struggle with elevation for sure. I think it's just because I hit the ball hard and high, and sometimes I'd almost need to get there 6 or 7 days in advance of when even I get there, because you can sit there and play 2 practice rounds. That's fine. But then I still don't feel comfortable when you get up on some of those tweener yardages and you're playing, what is this, 15%, 18%. So I would say those are
tough. I got a couple courses kind of like that in Boise, and it takes me a long, 5 or 6 rounds before I know that this club is going to land here, because visually, you have no clue what that target is.
Or you start to, as you progress through your set, you're like, okay, you're playing 15% with your 4 iron or 5 iron, but you probably only need to play 11%, 12% with your 8 iron and 9 iron, because you're not hitting it as hard. The ball's not traveling it at the same speed off the club face, so it's not going to pick up that elevation. So
right,
you'll hit lob wedges thinking how'd that not get there? And it's well, you're not going to hit a lob wedge 130 because you hit your 4 iron 250.
Right.
Since you've never seen this course, what's your prep look like?
I like it. I played it today. I actually changed flights. I took a red eye last night out of LAX and got in this morning. I just kind of had this weird feeling last minute. I was like, man, I need to get there. I need to get there, play, kind of relax rather than rush from the airport, get in a golf cart, drive around, not really hit shots, just look at greens and tee shots. Because we're playing 2 courses, so we're playing the other course, the one I'm going to play tomorrow. Practice. We're playing that course twice. That's the final round course.
Okay.
But the one today, Heathrow, is it's cool. It's the front 9 was kind of not forgettable, but it was. Every hole was, kind of the same layout. A little tight off the tee, water right or water left. The green complexes are goofy. I think that from where they mark the pins, it looks like every pin. I think we're going to play 18 back pin locations, which is I've never seen that before in my life.
Did you keep
because every green is like front and then a shelf and then tier, and they're put every pin on the tiers, not one single front pin.
For these practice rounds, do they allow you to kind of like go slower, if you will, kind of like maybe throw a couple balls in the bunker, kind of, hang around the greens and just chip or so?
We played a 5-some today. I mean,
nice.
It's I always try to play with the same guys. Like you said, it goes to that camaraderie thing. Like, I'm always playing with either Mark or Blake Olson or other guys from California, if they're around that are good, that I know are better players, because we all kind of do the same thing where it's like the tee shot doesn't really matter. You're just going to hit a tee shot where you think you want to hit it. And if you get up there and you're like, oh, this is not good, then you just throw it in the fairway where you're probably going to hit it during the tournament. It's around the greens is where we spend the most time.
For sure.
We'll just chip all around the green, putt from all around the green. But we teed off at 12:30 today, and I mean, I think we were done before 5.
Nice.
So
it's not bad.
No, not bad at all. And it was busy out there. I mean, there was a lot of 5-somes.
That's good.
But it helps, like today. It helps when they already have, we already know where the pins are going to be, the holes, because then it takes less time. Practice rounds where we don't really know where the pins are, then we're like, we're throwing discs in different corners. We're trying to figure out where we think they would put them. So then those practice rounds always take a lot longer.
A lot more goes into it than just showing up.
Well, on the different grass. I mean, Florida grasses, these are like that kind of dead dormant Bermuda fairways, they're tricky. They are definitely tricky.
Any of the recent rule changes from a couple of years back you don't like, or anything you want to see change in the future still?
So a funny story, actually. So it had to be, what was the first year that happened? 2018?
Yeah. I think going into 19 was the
or
maybe when it went into effect.
Going into 19. So I'm in Hawaii. Luckily, it wasn't a Monday. I'm playing the pre-qual for Sony, and I think I was 8 under on the I'm playing the last hole at this Hukale, this Ernie Els course, and I'm 8 under. I mean, you could shoot 2 over that day, and you're gonna get through the pre-qual. The pre-qual is just, let's weed out the guys that can't break 90, basically. But I'm sitting there and I'm 8 under, and I mean, it's like January. It might be it's probably like January 5th, January 6th. So I mean, these rolls just happened. And I get to 9. I'm finishing on 9, which is my 18th hole. And it's like a long par 4, dogleg right, water all down the right. It's blowing probably 20 downwind. And it's 340, give or take 335, 340, like through the fairway on the line that I'm hitting this. And I just smoke it. And we get up there and I'm like, man, it's in the water. So no big deal. I go. My brother's with me. He's caddying, throws me a ball, and I just casually go like that, and I drop it, and I get up and I hit like a 8 iron to the green. I make the 25 footer for par, and I'm like, oh, great par. And the kid I'm playing with, has the nerve to tell me, oh, did you improperly dropped? And I'm going, you saw me do it, and it's not a penalty if you re-drop, even if you start like that. And he saw me do it and didn't say anything. Let me hit the shot, make the par putt, and then tells me that I dropped incorrectly. So I get penalized, and I end up shooting 6 under instead of 8 under.
That was a 2-stroker.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I still got into the Monday, but that was my first encounter because the problem with that's the only rules change that bugs me was so for I don't know how many years we've either had to go like this or go like this, and all of a sudden you want us to curtsy down to the ground and drop from our knees. You should still be able to do that. It should be a player's choice anywhere between the shoulder and the
Right.
and that's what I think. But
You should put that in your bio.
I didn't even think twice about it because I just thought, oh, now they're letting guys drop like that. But you can still drop like this. It's still a drop. No, you have to drop from the knee or between the shin and the knee.
Or else it's considered improper. Yeah.
I think that's just I don't understand the point of it. It's a dumb rule. But
That needs to go in your bio, Matty. Matt Picanso, not a fan of the drop.
Not a fan of the drop. I'm not a fan of the curtsy. It just looks awkward. It's just not a flattering look to watch a golfer.
Any rules you still want to see changed?
I think the divots in the fairway thing is just a joke. I think if we're allowed to fix everything on the greens now, I just think it's
that's my one rule. I'm like we rake bunkers clean, we repair greens, and I hit to drive in the middle of the fairway, and and like a mud ball in the fairway too. You shouldn't.
I know.
Yeah.
I go back and forth with the mud balls. I mean, sometimes it's it's the rub of the dirt, but it just depends. It depends on how many guys are getting mud balls and how often throughout a round before I think that most of the tours will decide to play it up instead of playing it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you have a guy like it's hard for me to complain because I hit it really high. So I know when we play soft golf, I've already accepted, like, I'm going to get mud balls. It's not, other guys probably won't, but I will. And I can bitch and moan all I want, but at the end of the day, we're still going to play it down. So,
right.
But it's kind of fun. I mean, it's another one of those things where you have to kind of do your research and just know, like, okay, more often or not, if this mud's towards the back of the ball on the right side, it's going to dive and try to shoot left. And if it's on the other side, it's going to dive and shoot right. And then you just kind of roll with it and you hope it doesn't take off too bad on you.
How many rules officials are out there with you guys on these mini tours?
I mean, give or take, just it depends on the tour and the size, I guess.
Does one follow each group, like one assigned to each group, or just if you need a rules question, you call in and they come on?
I mean, even in tour events, we don't have, you have a walking score with you, but they don't do anything with the rules. All they can do is just call on the radio, and they'll probably have anywhere from, on tour events, there's probably 5 or 6 guys in golf carts throughout the golf course that can get to you within a couple, 30 seconds or a minute. But on the mini tours, I mean, there might be 2 guys, one on the front, one on the back, and sometimes maybe even one. So you just have to, they give you a rule sheet and there's usually a phone number. You call the phone number and you just wait for them to show up.
Old school. White stakes mean OB.
I know. A lot of the times it's just, sometimes there's been times when I've gotten irritated because I know that I know the rule, but the other player is just like, well, I'm just going to wait for him to come. And I'm sitting there going, man, I'm going to tell you right now what he's going to tell you. You're not going to get relief. And he's like, well, I'm just going to call. And I'm like, okay.
All right.
The guy comes and then walks up and goes, no, you don't get relief from that. It's like,
take me back to your winnings before we let you go here, like the swagger that you had, because you won 3 straight starts. If I'm mistaken, you won in January, February, and then May. So that was obviously back to back to back. Is there something, can you explain what happened during those 3 events? Did you just take the first one and like what happened that you took?
No, I mean, it goes back to I knew I was, I was excelling in so many areas towards the end of 2019. And I wasn't always winning, but it seemed like every event I was either in second or in the lead, or, I mean, I don't think for a stretch there, I mean, I don't think I finished outside of the top 3 for like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And that's where I went back and I looked, and I'm telling you, it was that 8 to 12 foot range. I just started honing in on that. And I came out the beginning of this year, 2020, and it was just, I mean, Bakersfield Country Club's a special place for me, and I grew up there, and I've always wanted to win that tournament. And so this year was just, I was firing on all cylinders, and I got to my parents' house, and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm winning. She was like, you're pretty confident. I go, I'm winning. Unless I pull a DJ and I fall down the stairs right now, something like that, I'm winning. Like, it's just, I'm winning.
Well, and you won by 6.
I shot 8 the first round, and I felt like I left a couple out there. And I went out the second day and shot 9, and everyone's like, oh, man.
64, 63, 68, 1 by 6.
Yep.
Your next event, you won by 1, and then the legacy class.
Yeah, Boba. That next one was like, I didn't have the best ball striking week, but I just putted my lights out, and I actually I made like a 25-footer on eagle for 18 to beat Garrick and Brady. And it's weird because I never fist pump or do anything like that. And they're all giving me a hard time because I hit the putt and I just started walking. But it wasn't like a confident, cocky walk. It was just like I hit it and I just started walking and picked it up.
It just goes in.
And then Arizona I didn't play golf for almost a month and a half. I mean, my girlfriend has,
this is the legacy, right?
Yeah, the legacy one.
Yeah.
Right? She got some autoimmune stuff. So we took it pretty serious in the beginning. I went out to the desert with her. Her family has a house in Palm Springs, and we just flat quarantined. I mean, I might have maybe putted or chipped in the backyard here or there, but I didn't do anything. And I was already signed up to play in that the Scottsdale AZ Open, and they didn't cancel it. So I was like, well, I guess I'm still going to Arizona. And then I didn't even know about those 2 Golden Staters before it until a couple weeks before, because it wasn't on the Golden State. It was all run by the Outlaw Tour, and I never played any Outlaw Tour. So I think Nick from Golden State texted me. He goes, dude, why are you not out there playing? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, Marky's out there. Everybody's out there. They're playing. And I'm like, oh, shoot. All right. So let me get out there. So I got out to Legacy, and I think it was one of those times I had no expectations, 0 expectations. And I kind of cruised around the practice round, and I was like, I'm still hitting it good. And I almost made a putter switch just because I do stupid things like that sometimes. Just out of the blue, I'll be like, well, I haven't putted in, 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And I got on the putting green, and I didn't like the way my putter felt. So I was like, I might switch. And luckily I didn't, because as soon as the tournament started, it was just like nothing else had changed. I mean, I think I shot 7.65.
Yeah. 64, 65, 66. And you beat it.
I got in the playoff with an amateur. It was
with an amateur.
I've been in a lot of playoffs in my life. That was the funnest playoff ever, because it didn't matter what I did. I was winning first place money. Right.
Gosh, what a feeling, right?
Time, I didn't want to get beat by an amateur. So
yeah,
it was still a little bit more incentive, but and then I kind of I played the Scottsdale right after that. And just never got anything going in the AZ Open. I think I probably shot like 70. And then I took like another break before I went off to the Dakotas. And then that was really it. Went off to the Dakotas, came back. I mean, I played a few, little things, Bow Tour and stuff like that. But it was kind of nice. It was kind of a quiet year. I mean, it was nice to have those wins, because I won those 3, and then I won the Bow Tour Championship at Saboba right at the beginning of December. I guess me and Saboba have we have a lot of good vibes.
I remember
I've won a lot of tournaments out there.
I caddied for a kid out in Saboba, and we went in July, and it was the worst day of my entire life, just because it was just
probably 120.
Yeah, I mean, I went through like six Gatorades. I was peeing every 3 holes. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, it gets nasty out there for sure.
Oh man, Matty, it's great to see you, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for finally making time. And
I'm glad I kept thinking too, like every time you would text me, I'm like, God, I feel like I keep, I'm like ghosting Eddie, but I'm not trying to. It's just
you're good. I just kept joking with my wife, and I'm like, this guy's harder than Tiger Woods to get a hold of. Like, geez, what did I say? No, man, it's good to see you, dude. And best of luck this week, man. Go out and kick some butt, all right?
Yeah, we'll
be following you, and let's catch up down the road and just see what's happening down the road. And if you ever make it to Boise, reach out to me. Mike lives there. Mike, you'll host him, right? Yeah. So
I want to come out. I mean, I know Boise's. How far is it from Coeur d'Alene?
Well, you got probably 6-7 hour drive because it's not a straight shot. You're switching through mountains back and forth. So, but there's an amazing course up there. I'm going to get up and play. I'm going to play Circling Raven this year up there.
Yeah, because I've been to Coeur d'Alene a few summers with like some of my mom's side of the family, but I never get to play golf, and I'm always like, man, I want to play golf. Yeah,
there's a Golf Digest top 50 course up there on the Circling Raven course up in the Indian Reservation that just looks amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, it looks like there's a lot of good golf courses in that whole area that people don't even know about.
For sure. Right on, Matty. Well, hey, dude. We'll be watching. We'll be following you this week, man, and go make those 8 to 12 footers. We did have a kid from Auburn on a couple weeks ago on the podcast, and I'm just throwing this out there. We make magic, Matty, here on the Rough Fairways. So he was on December 13th, and then his next event, which was this past Monday, 28, 29, 30, he went out and won.
Wire to wire.
So it's wire to wire. So it's the podcast bump, Matty. I'm just saying. So if you win this week or have a huge,
I will give you guys the nod for sure.
We make magic. We just make magic. That's all I'm saying, Matty P.
Love it.
Hey, I love the Goat Hill. You're repping the Goat Hill, and
yep.
Go make those putts and hit it straight, man.
I shall.
See you, Matty. We'll be in touch. Okay.
Eddie, thanks. Yep.
See you, bud.
Bye.
Rough Fairways is executive produced by Eddie Dunn and Mike Sells. The man, the myth, and the legend, Matty P. Matt Picanso. Our thanks again to him for doing this. A lot of fun. We are off next week, but join us in a couple of weeks for former PGA Tour member Tyler Aldridge. Until then, everybody be kind to each other.